Eh, we're fine with it. Everyone can watch us. Wait a minute.
Alright, so here we are at attempt number...
Three, four?
I think it's 4, yeah.
I think it's 4 now.
Now we place bets on whether N will load, or he did. There we go. Okay, so
yeah.
Here we are. We're going to get straight into the pick phase of this game. Of course, thank you for joining me. I know we've got Vanek and Sturrock down there in the chat. Thank you guys. Of course, if you are watching and it's perhaps one of your first little attempts at watching some Dota 2, please feel free to ask questions in the chat. As Sturrock was talking about, I am more than happy to be teaching people about Dota 2. It's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to watch, which is why I'm doing this, because there are some really good teams in this tournament that may not always get the same sort of recognition that they normally should. Yeah, hopefully we'll find some interesting picks here in this. And as I said, ask away with the questions. And if you want to see, I am going to be doing more sort of teaching streams where I'll be playing and sort of explaining what I'm doing and why we're doing it, that kind of thing, so that you too can learn how to play some Dota 2. Anyway, let's have a look at what we've got here. It looks like we are going to get some very familiar bans from both of these teams. Take it away, 12th Doc. What do you think?
MiTH-Trust got the first ban and immediately ban out the Darks here, so obviously they want to hate on that one. It's a pretty regular ban, especially, well, yeah, it's been a pretty regular ban since before the patches. Is pretty decent hero. Counter to that is RJ banning out the Naga Siren. Again, it's a typical ban, but seen less bans recently just because it's fallen out of favour. There are a lot of things which can deal with it, deal with the song. So
yeah, I think obviously the rise of Naga during well, not the rise per se, because obviously she was still very powerful beforehand, but the the prominence of Naga during the International 2 was a very, very big sort of situation where a lot of teams would say, alright, well, I need to ban this hero out, or I need to take it for myself, just because she supplies such a useful tool. She's got fantastic lane pushing once she gets a couple of items and Riptide up and running. And of course, in team fights, she throws out a lot of damage. And then, if all goes to hell and you're in a very painful sort of situation, throw up a Song of the Siren, which makes all of your enemies just fall asleep while you run away. So I think Na'Vi were pretty much the first team during TI2 that sort of said, you know what, we don't care if you pick Naga. They got a couple of big sort of AoE heroes. They got their Rubik, all this kind of thing to try and counter the Naga. And I think from that point, some teams just decided, okay, she's not as powerful as she seems unless you get the perfect song off. But anyway, the rest of the bans here for this match, of course, MiTH have banned out Rubik, a very powerful mid lane hero, of course providing a bit of support if possible, or if needed I should say, and then the Tide Hunter as well has a lot of AoE and provides a lot of power in team fights. And then we got Bat and Nature's Prophet.
yeah, MiTH took out Rubik. RJ took out the Tide Hunter, which is it's a decent ban. They don't want to deal with Ravage, but they've left open a number of options for MiTH-Trust, now taking up Batride and Jakiro. I see no Templar Assassin ban. I see no Enigma ban. This could go very what's the word? They could get outpicked here. MiTH chose Nature's Prophet first. They have a lot of options right now.
Yeah, so they're gonna take. Looks like they're taking their time with the picks number 2 and 3. Of course, we were mentioning before, if you're new to Dota 2, this is the captain's mode, where you actually have to pick in a certain order. You'll have a couple of banned heroes, then you'll get to pick hero 1, and then hero 1 and 2 for the opposite team, then 2 and 3, and so on, and you'll sort of understand how it goes along. And you get a fair amount of time to make your picks. Obviously, you want to discuss it between the captain of the team and then the teammates to decide how do you want to run your team today. And it looks as if MiTH-Trust are going to pick up a Queen of Pain to try and control the middle lane. Of course, Co-op a very powerful mid lane hero, and of course providing quite a lot in team fights as well, with her ultimate doing quite a lot of damage in an AoE, and then not to mention the Scream of Pain as well, which also provides a lot of damage in an AoE. Looks if we may also have a Leshrac as well. Yeah, so Leshrac is similar sort of situation, of course, providing some support, but then also being quite good once his AoEs get rolling, once he's got a bit of mana, once he's got a bit of health to make sure he doesn't just fall over, and he can really help out with the Split Earth, of course, and with the with Diabolic Edict, which is really good for pushing down towers. So we'll see what the third pick is from the RJ team, and what do you think it's going to be?
I'm really not sure at the moment. They've got the Bat Rider. It looks like they were like baiting out the TA pick and then throw him middle. Middle's still an option, or they could try and throw him on the lane. Jakiro, obviously a great support pick. Not sure whether they want to pick a mid or another support right now. Another support would leave things up in the air, and MiTH-Trust would have to take out a number of bans. So, yeah, I would recommend taking the support now and leave MiTH-Trust guessing, rather than take your heavy hero now and be left with nothing to help support early game. Yeah,
it's sort of it is that situation we've got. So from ooh, very cool. They've picked up the Clockwork. I love seeing this guy in proper sort of team fights. He provides a really interesting dynamic, providing initiation with his hook shot, throwing that out to link himself to an enemy hero, and then bringing himself to them. Start out with some cogs to sort of hold them down, and then also he's got Rocket Flare for giving his team a bit of vision, and also Battery Assault helping out with those mini stuns and all kinds of things as well. So he provides a really interesting dynamic. You don't see him too often, but he certainly does provide that interesting dynamic. Interesting to see so far. There's no real hard carry from either team just yet. You were sort of mentioning it a little bit there. There's no real super hard carry. Of course, Quap, if you feed, or if you know, one of those very hardcore players in someone like IG or DK or someone like that, you can run a Queen of Pain and just start destroying people. Of course, Nature's Prophet can do something similar, but you see him used quite a lot, just simply for his roaming ganking potential. But yeah, both teams no super hard carry just yet.
No, MiTH-Trust looking at carries or potential things which could get out of control later on. They've banned out Lone Druid. Just waiting on the counter ban now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what RJ is going to do. Perhaps they'll want to try and pick up, sort of ban out their own carries they don't like to deal with. Like you mentioned, TA is still not banned out at the moment.
Yeah, TA isn't there. If they want to go down the very heavy intelligence route, Invoker's there. Out goes the Shadow Demon.
Interesting ban there.
Out comes the Sebo Assassin, so finally that goes. Looking at those, they're taking out the agility heroes there. So
yeah, it's like Shadow Demon in some sort of regions. You'll see Shadow Demon just never picked up, never banned. But I'm pretty sure it's in I think in some parts of Euro. I can't remember. Someone was mentioning it. There are some parts, like some sort of regions of the world where teams play where they'll Shadow Demon's like #1 ban or pick, just because they. You know, if you use him in a lane to try and control your opponent with the Shadow Poison, he can do a really large amount of damage. Not to mention you've got the bonus of his little amplify magic thingy. That's how terrible I feel because I don't know what it's called.
I think it's Shadow Poison.
Yeah, no, the other one. The other one.
That, the other one
amplifies the magic damage. Whatever it is.
Is that disruption?
No, that's a setup one. That provides really good setup. But anyway, so he can be run in a team and can provide a really nice amount of support and damage at the same time. But as we can see, Windrunner banned out by MiTH-Trust. It looks like the Undying was also banned by RJ. They don't want that guy sitting in there. Neither do I, because he's really annoying.
Sensible move, taking out Undying.
Yep.
They've still got one ban, and they're going to ban out the Bounty Hunter. Again, a great ban. Stop them from being tracked up all the time. That will lose them the movement speed. But if they get killed as well, that's bounty gold, and no one wants to give away bonus goals to MiTH-Trust.
That's exactly right. We have seen a little bit of again, sort of the rise of a hero in a way, in the fact that Bounty Hunter has been picked up by quite a lot of teams with the changes to the way gold is distributed during hero kills. But because if you throw down a Bounty Hunter, pick up the track, as you mentioned, you get that bonus gold plus the tiny little bit of an edge that came through with one of the recent patches to the gold that's picked up during a hero kill. If you're around when that happens, it can start spiraling out of control. Or perhaps on the other foot, if you're sitting far behind your opponents, you can come back with that track gold providing a bit of a bonus. But as we can see, MiTH-Trust going a little bit outside the box, picking up a Magnus here. I haven't actually seen him for a little while now. I think Navi have used him a few times, but
I saw played yesterday. I can't remember who played him though. It was I'm trying to remember. It's the first match that Toby cast yesterday for Starladder. Was it Starladder? I'm not sure. But yeah, Magnus play. I think he is the latest hero which has been implemented to Captain's Mode, because obviously War Runner hasn't been added yet, and neither has Slark, who only came out a couple of days ago. I think Magnus is the latest hero to be added to the Captain's Mode. People have been having a lot of fun with him. I think they're going to try and throw him with support into a tri-lane bottom, because Magnus with his horn, the skewer, it's a great mechanic to run away from a fight, but if you can get the positioning right and maneuver him behind the enemy team, he can skewer and take the hero with him far beyond the help of the rest of his team, and then they can pick him off. So, and the final pick is Sven. Since his recent bust and things, he's seen a lot more play than he used to, and yeah, I just like seeing what teams do with him.
I think just looking, we've also got an Invoker on RJ. They've got going to throw him out there. He can be put in the mid lane. Perhaps the Bat Rider is going to be in the off lane, or maybe even in the jungle, depending on how they want to run it. Actually, I suppose he'd have to be up in the off lane, given their lineup at the moment. Looks like we're probably going to have. So I think you're right.
That changes things around.
Yeah, it does.
So that would be Ricky bottom lane with, let's see, Bat Rider jungle, Jakiro support, Clockwork in the suicide lane, and Invoker mid, I reckon.
And then
for MiTH-Trust, slightly more predictable, Sven solo top, the Shrek, and Magnus taking up the bottom lane, Nature's Prophet jungle, Queen of Pain taking the mid.
Yep. Sounds like a plan. So here we go into our game from the GosuCup Asia number 2. It is, of course, featuring MiTH-Trust and RJ. Down at the bottom left here is our team for Rajawali, I believe it's pronounced. They've got their Clockwork being played by Ben Dung, I think it is. Ben Klung? No, my bad. Yeah, I'm reading it wrong just because the font's really weird in this game. I've never liked it. They've also got, they've got Baby Beal on Invoker. Looks like he'll be playing mid as you'd suggested. We've got Tyson on the Jakiro. Feral Dove is going to be playing on Bat Rider, and that of course leaves our Ricky Maru to be played by our player who has had a bit of trouble loading. It is N. He's going to be picking up a little bit of XP here. 6 XP, it's better than a kick in the teeth, but I don't know.
Bat Rider gets that excellent 15 gold, which you need to secure the win.
There you go. You got to pick up that blink. I tell you what. Meanwhile, for MiTH-Trust, at the moment we've got our Magnus sitting in the middle, and oh my god, what is that helmet from Sven?
What? What is going to go bottom? I don't know whether that's going to be for the lane phase as well, or they're just going to have a route. That could actually work.
Obviously, she's got you know, her blink and her slow, which helps out. So that is going to be LK down the bottom with the Quap in the... Well, we're not sure exactly yet. R5 is on the left track, and...
Same as I said before, except they've rotated Quap with Magnus, so Magnus will take the mid-roll, and Quap will take the bottom lane.
Yep.
And we'll have a Leshrac supporting and alternating between the lanes. Looks like he's going towards mid for now, but you might be seeing him dipping out of both lanes, going mid and bottom to help as things go on.
Yeah, and we've got a Quas Invoker in the middle up against the Magnus, as we can see. Leshrac actually maybe heading up towards top. We've got the Nature's Prophet being run by SD, who's in the forest, of course. And up the top, that solo Sven, as you'd mentioned, being run by TNK. He's going to hold that and see what he can do against Clockwork. That'll be a very interesting fight if I've ever seen one. Of course, Sven putting out a lot of damage with his hits, and of course his Stormhammer going to help out as well. They may even go for the first blood here. Ben Klung is going to be caught out, and there is a stun from both Leshrac and Sven. There should be more than enough damage to take him down. He's going to try and run. Nowhere to run there, and first blood taken by MiTH-Trust up at the top lane. R5 picking that up. Nice little win for them up there, and we'll see how they proceed from that. Of course, as we mentioned, Sven is sort of solo here against this Invoker. Very interesting way to play. I'm sort of wondering if Leshrac is going to come and help him out every now and then, a roaming Leshrac, if you will.
So. I think he's just going to stay off to the side, make sure that no funny business happens with the Clockwork, put on those stuns so that they can kill him off, and then you'll see him rotate round to this creep camp, which has been cleverly warded up. Normally you would pull from the Dire camp and you would pull up this way into the lane, and it would pull the creep wave down this way, and it would stop them progressing past the tower, and so it pulls the creep wave back towards the tier 1 tower for the Dire side. Because this ward is here, this creeps won't spawn in this camp, so they can't do that. But if that ward hadn't been there, that's what you'd see Leshrac doing. He'd be setting up the stuns, trying to kill off the Clockwork, stop him from getting any levels at all, and then pulling the creep wave.
Yeah, down the bottom we actually had the Queen of Pain being caught out by Ricky with an offensive blink while it looked like he was dying, and again it looks like the Quap tried to come in again, but she's getting caught out quite a lot by that Ricky. There's Jakira coming in at just the right time with Ice Path, so for the moment LK will be forced back. Up at the top, as we just saw on the tab there, we actually had another kill going the way of MiTH-Trust with R5 getting a kill there on that Leshrac. And things really interesting at the moment. I'm still very perplexed by this mid lane here. It looks like, of course, Magnus has got his Shockwave, which can always help in doing a little bit of damage. Doesn't really cost too much mana at all, just 90 mana to cast that one. And but for the Radiant, for RJ, they've got Feral Dove in the forest, who is just pulling the creeps into the mid lane. So they're just going to try and take advantage of the fact that they can pull that mid lane back. Just off to the side is R5 in the middle. Looks like they might try and go for a kill on Baby Beal. He is going to be caught out here. A Shockwave going off on him, but there goes the Ghost Walk. Nicely timed, maybe sensing that bit of a gain coming out. And unfortunately, R5 did have a sentry. I don't know why that went down so late, but he was not able to catch that one.
I really don't know, to be honest. What I'm waiting for is, now that Magnus has his bottle, he'll just bottle an Invis rune, and when he thinks the time is right, he'll use it, walk into the lane, this sort of angle, and then skewer that way towards his own tower, and then he'll have two of his friends waiting up here saying, "Oh hi, here comes the Invoker, kill him." Yep. And that'll be the easiest gank of his life.
Yeah, definitely. And
so
down the bottom, this lane is really interesting. The Queen of Pain is being jumped on by Ricky at basically every single moment that he can throw up the Blink Strike, and that's doing a fair amount of damage. I mean, with Blink Strike level 3, of course, you're doing 90 damage with that Blink, which is quite a lot to a Queen of Pain who's soloed by herself. She's got no bottle at the moment, although it has just arrived, and she's only got 600 health, so that's quite a lot for her. It looks as if Clockwork again going down, R5 having an absolute ball in the top lane, throwing out the Split Earth and the Diabolic Edict, of course, with Sven Stormhammer that's out and catching Clockwork by himself. And I don't know. They're gonna have to. RJ are gonna have to do something to try and deal with that top lane, because he just can't keep losing like that when he's now being hit twice. It looks like also Quop almost caught out again, but no. Tyson not able to put the ice path down. Quop too quick to get out of jail.
Yeah, Queen of Pain is not having a decent time of it. She's really not happy against going up against Ricky, which is actually an unusual skill leveling. When I was taught how to play, it was put everything you could into backstab as early as possible so you could do as much bonus damage. But he's decided to put 3 levels into Blink Strike, so he does the base damage goes up by 30 per level, so it's currently sitting at 90. The cooldown goes down as well, so it's looking at a 10-second cooldown for the same mana cost. I think that's what changed. The mana cost used to go up. I think it's now level at 50. So he's able to blink pretty much every 10 seconds to wherever Queen of Pain is. So she has to be really careful for all of her blinks, and if she's too late with her blink to get away as well, Ricky can put down the silence, and that would be game over for her. She gets killed again.
Yeah, definitely. And as we can see, she's having quite a lot of trouble with that. It looks as if during we did see that Magnus actually got a kill in the middle here with the assistance of R5. In fact, perhaps it was R5 who got the kill. Yes, it was. My bad.
Yes, it was.
It was R5. It was a skewer and then the reverse polarity to hold down Baby Beal in the middle. And it looks like he's also having a little bit of trouble despite being up against the melee hero, but going for that the Quas Wex build, allowing him, of course, the Cold Snap and the Ghost Walk, but not as much firepower as you would normally see without the Exort.
So expected the Evoker to go Quas Exort instead of Quas Wex, because he brought up the Circlet first rather than his Blades of Attack. The great thing about the Quas Wex Invoker is you run around crazy fast like a madman, because you get your phase boots as quickly as possible. He's about 40 gold from finishing it now, but I've seen most people starting with the Blades of Attack in top lane. Oh, again. Clockwork again dying to the Leshrac. He died 4 times, so 4 of those kills for MiTH-Trust have been all on that Clockwork. He needs to rotate out of that lane. He's not having any business up there. He's 9 for nil. Sven's at 34 for 21. He's the 3rd highest on the map right now. All 3 of the top of that last hit table are dire.
Looks like there is going to be an attempted gank here. Up at the top, the clock comes in, but he is a bit of a bait, because up from the upper side, in come the rest of RJ. A good lasso picking up the Leshrac, taking him down. It looks as if the Prophet is also got down as well. The Sven does get away, which is okay, given that he's probably going to want to keep a lot of that gold that he's obtained at the moment. But still, not too badly done. RJ saying you can't pick on this guy. He's just a little robot, and we don't like picking on robots at all. So coming up to the top and sort of shutting down just for the moment, but of course that does not entirely shut down that top lane. Meanwhile, Magnus has actually caught out the Jakira with the illusions. He's going to be able to put out quite a lot of damage. Looks like the Prophet teleports in, takes that last hit. Meanwhile, also in the middle lane, Baby Beal again caught out by the Leshrac, not able to keep up with him and take him down, but MiTH-Trust having a really good time of it at the moment.
Yeah, Batrider was able to capitalise on the fight in the top lane. He got himself a double kill, even though Sven was escaping. He was able to kill off the Nature's Prophet and the Leshrac, I believe. And in the meantime, we missed at the bottom. Goodness, Leshrac has been able to kill off the Invoker. That's really helped out Queen of Pain, who's able to pop level 6 and now about to sort out level 7 as well. Whilst that fight was happening top, she died to Ricky on bottom, so she was fortunate to get out of that lane. She might have a bit of revenge now.
Not going to be able to get him.
In front of the tower, gets shouted down. And it looks as though, yeah, Magnus finishes that one off.
Like, at the moment, the story lies with the with R5 on the Leshrac. He's sitting up at a very impressive 6-2, just being the support in that top lane, but getting all the kills. But I really think that it's the Magnus who's doing a fantastic job. He's sitting up there on 43 creep kills at the moment, so he's doing a nice job with all of that. Of course, it also, as we can see on the last hits and denies, we've got the Prophet sitting on 49, farming away in the jungle. Also, Sven, 48 over 30. He's denying every single thing he can get his hands on, and doing his best.
That's the most denies I've ever seen, to be honest.
He's doing his best to really keep that lane back, yeah.
Yeah, denies are not as important as last hits when it comes to laning, but it's so great. You stop your opponents from getting gold, you stop them from getting as much experience as they would normally. And 30 denies, that's really overkill on the denies, so he's doing a really good job. 50 for 30 is, yeah, 52, not so bad for this early on the game. It means he's getting 5 last hits every minute, but 30 denies, it's a big number.
And in the middle, we've got the Quap being caught out, the blink in from Batrider, catching her with the lasso, bringing her back. The EMP actually missed, slightly missed time, but here comes Clockwork. He's going straight on R5, smoke going down, stopping him from casting, and another kill. In fact, the double kill there for RJ, catching out Queen of Pain, and then the Leshrac, of course, as well, which is certainly quite nice for them, being able to pick up that Leshrac.
Yeah, Ricky jumped into that Clockwork cogs as well, just to make sure that the Leshrac was not going to escape. He put down the smoke. As the smoke screen goes down, that means he's silenced. There's nothing he can do. He can't even cast his edict to deal damage back to the team, so they were able to get 2 kills there. Sven able to take down Invoker. He's now saying, I've had enough of farming top lane, let's go and kill some people. And he got himself a kill there, and now he's going to take himself a tower too.
Yeah, it looks like just using his reverse polarity to stun that Invoker, and then of course the Storm Hammer from Sven sealing the deal. And MiTH-Trust really starting to assert their dominance on the map. However, down in bottom, it looks like SD was almost caught out. The Batrider is now trying to follow him and get him in his last little throes of health. Of course, as we can see, SD on that Prophet is sitting on 90 health. The Batrider, beautifully played, escaping off to the side and teleporting out before he gets caught out, because effectively the entire MiTH-Trust team is down here, and now with the tower down, they're free to roam around this jungle, especially with the vision they've got. Just having a look at the wards that they've got, they can see quite a lot of this jungle section here with the ward there. They've also got a bit of vision on the upper rune as well, so they're going to be able to keep an eye on what these guys from RJ are doing, and their rotations around the map, which is of course a very important part of Dota 2.
Yeah, these wards are really good in the jungle. That's all thanks to the Nature's Prophet as well. He's been farming the Radiant jungle since the beginning of the game. Whenever Batrider hasn't been there, he's been able to make the most out of both jungles. So he's getting himself... In fact, he's the highest last hit on the board with his Hand of Midas. He's 65 last hits. So he's really having a fun time.
Exactly, and as I was trying to find, where is it? There it is. The items at the moment looking pretty good for both teams. Actually, it's not as if any one particular person is too far behind, like more than you would expect them to be. As we can see, the Batrider with his tranquil boots, he's got the blink. Invoker a little bit further behind, perhaps, with his face boots and the strength bracer. Meanwhile, for the Clockwork at the moment, he's sitting there with his face boots and almost a Vanguard. Jakira, of course, a little bit further behind, being a support, and Ricky is doing alright, given that he sort of has had a little bit of a hard time after coming out of his bottom lane.
Yes, he has. Clockwork, I'm not sure why he wanted to go Arcane Boots before finishing up that Vanguard first. The energy booster is about the same as the point boost, not the point booster, the other one.
The Vitality booster.
Sorry, the Vitality booster. Name escaped me for a minute. They're about the same. I think the Vitality booster is only 100 gold more. He could sacrifice mana if he shared a bottle with someone else just to make sure his Vanguard was complete. And now he's got how many gold? 336. He's got to wait another 800 before that's finished. He's not having a great time this game, really.
Oh my!
Maybe
what
this
a
will
hook
change
shot!
around,
Beautifully done. Catches out the Sven. Here comes the rest of the team. A little bit far behind is the rest of RJ, but Jakira throwing up the Macropire. Looks like the Bat also did a good job with Firefly, but not enough power there. Magnus says, no, I am getting a little bit horny, and it just absolutely destroys most of the team there. That is 3 down. Gonna be 4, and oh my god, a beautiful overkill. Ow, indeed. And that certainly hurts RJ right there, with Magnus getting a little bit scary right about now. And really, the big hope for RJ at the moment, Ricky, is still just trying to gather up some gold. He really needs some more to be able to pick up some of those key items. Of course, the Diffusal Blade, something you really want to go for with Ricky in these types of situations, but he is quite far behind that at the moment. He's going to need a lot more time if he is going to pick up that.
Yep, Diffusal Blade or Sanjay and Yasha, both really good items for Ricky, but they're both quite expensive. See where I can find it in the inventory. Diffusal Blade level 1 is 3,300, 850 to make it level 2. Sanj is 2050, and Yasha, obviously, the same. You'd want to get the Yasha first.
And there is the clock. He's just said hello with the hook shot again on the Prophet. SD going down to the Clockwork, so that's quite nice for him, getting that extra little kill. In fact, it was Baby Beal on the Invoker who picked up the kill, but regardless, having the Clockwork there to initiate the fights, and it looks like in the middle again, wow, Magnus pulling back the Ricky, the Bat Rider trying to deal with Sven as well, the rest of the team coming to save the day. Shockwave going off from Magnus, not enough to really do too much damage, but no one dying there in the middle from RJ, despite the situation. Ricky looking a little bit worried there for a moment because he was caught out by the skewer from Magnus, but here he comes. He's got his invis. In fact, it's he's smoked up, so he's going to put on the extra little bit of damage there from Empower, and he's going to try and come in here and perhaps grab another big skewer on one of these players here and see if he can initiate with his ultimate, which is also available right now as well.
Yeah, very intelligent play coming out from him before as well, because he went behind the Ricky and then pulled him back towards the sentry ward. Unfortunately, Bat Rider came to the rescue at that very point and stopped any more shenanigans happening, and Ricky saved Ricky's life there. If they hadn't been stunned up, Magnus would have surely gotten the kill in the middle lane, and that would have been Ricky sitting on much less gold. As it happens, he's just finished up his Ring of Aquila, which will help him, give him the bonus armor. If he'd have died there, he wouldn't have been having that item. He'd still be sitting with a Wraith Band.
Definitely. As we can see, we're getting a little bit heated around the bottom tower here for the Radiant. Their tier 2 tower is in quite a lot of trouble, of course. Diabolic Edict, a great way to bring down those towers, doing so much damage to them. But he is going to have to back off for the time being. There is a sentry ward just over here as well to detect that Ricky if he comes along. Normally when you're playing Ricky, you want to try and scout out for your team a little bit because you are invisible. You can sort of just head across and see what's going on. But there it is. There is a hook shot. Actually, caught out the creep, which may have been the target of choice, but there are the cogs getting the Sven locked inside. The Leshrac is getting caught out as well. Macropie going down. There is the Queen of Pain with a Scream of Pain and the Sonic Wave catching out quite a lot. Only the Clockwork goes down for the trade of 3, because up in the top, Bat Rider took down Sven, which is something a little bit scary to think about, but Feral Dove did pick up SD. Actually, sorry, no, he picked up Nature's Prophet, my bad. He picked up the Nature's Prophet in the top, which is, you know, something you do see that from time to time, given that he will have Blink. Of course, Firefly helping him out with getting out of the trees as well from Sprout. And
having a quick look at the items now. Sven is about 600 away from completing his Black King bar. The Shrek has finished up his arcane boots and his magic wand. Not sure what he's looking for now, because it looks as though Nature's Prophet is going to go for the mechanism. He's about 360 away from completing that one. Magnus has the Mask of Madness on the Magnus, with a Blink Dagger and Strength Power Treads. Quap has a Mantle of Intelligence, could convert that to a Null Talisman, or could just sell it at this point, because it's not going to really do anything unless she wants to go for a Dagon.
Definitely.
2,500 gold though, so a lot of gold. Might look for a Cyber Vice by buying up the Ultimate Orb, possibly even going towards a Lincoln Sphere, but Cyber Vice is the more likely option. The Scepter giving the intelligence, and the Ultimate Orb giving all the attributes. She has the... There we go, the Ultimate Orb.
Yep. So that'll be 2, because Prophet is also on the way towards the site as well. He's now finished up that mech that you were talking about. He's now just finishing up some of the farming with his good buddy R5, helping out with those ancient granite golems. Going to pick up a lot of gold off that. Meanwhile, of course, as we can see on the Radiant team, RJ they've started to pick things up a little bit more. It looks like our Clockwork has actually gone just straight across to the Chainmail, getting prepared for a Blade Mail if he does please. But interesting, as you were talking about, he's not going to finish up that Vanguard just yet. A little bit odd.
Yeah, he's thinking Vanguard is too far away. I can't get that Vitality booster because it's just too expensive. I know what I'll do. I'll wait until I have enough armor, and then I can farm up or get as many kills as I need to get that Vanguard finished.
He needs a Ring of Health at the moment, so...
The broadsword required to finish that has actually cost more than the Ring of Health. Sorry, he has the Vitality boost. He's a Ring of Health, 875. The broadsword actually costs more, so not quite sure. It's an interesting choice, but obviously he thought that he needed the armor more right now than finishing off to have the evasion.
Oh wow, this fight is insane. Batrider catching out to Sven, but looks like Invoker is going to be the first cab off the rank. Ricky also picked up as well, so MiTH-Trust catching 2 heroes out for absolutely nothing, and we did see quite a lot of spells going down. Of course, Jakiro using up his, Hookshot being used by Clockwork as well, and Batrider losing his lasso. So basically, a lot of ultis used there for not really too much on the side of RJ. So for the moment, it looks like MiTH-Trust is going to try and capitalize on the fact that they've taken down that bottom tower, which sort of does take away from quite a lot of the map vision of RJ, and then they're going to head straight into Roshan, and they should be able to do this very quickly, especially with Sven now with his BKB, of course, doing quite a lot of damage, along with Sven with his Mask of Madness doing all sorts of painful, terrible things to the team when he catches them out. So.
Magnus with his bonus attack speed from the Mask of Madness as well. He's just like, oh, you think you could take me, Roshan? I'm getting life gain as I attack you. And he just tanks it all while the rest of the team just basically help him out. And the end result of that was the Aegis goes on to Queen of Fame.
That's right.
So that's given her slightly more tank ability, and she was dying a lot at the start of the game. Problem solved. You can't kill something that's immortal. So...
That's right, and just looking at the gold graph, it has started to really dip the way of MiTH-Trust right now. They're about 12,000 in front. The XP graph sitting effectively the same sort of situation there, about 12,000 in front is MiTH-Trust, and both teams have tried to smoke up and gank their opposing fellows. However, it looks like MiTH-Trust is actually going to be in a better position to try and get the gank going on RJ in the top lane, but we'll see if that happens. They're all starting to converge. It is going to be a blink in from Magnus. He actually catches no one, and the skewer goes nowhere. He's not going to be happy about that. Hook shot from the Clockwork, EMP, Macropire, Sven running in with the BKB and his ulti activated, hitting people everywhere. Leshrac goes down after quite a while. That was quite a long fight before anyone went down. Leshrac getting taken out. Jakiro trying to throw out the ice path everywhere he can. Batrider is now being caught out, and he goes down. So after, wow, that was almost like 15 seconds of spells being thrown left, right, and center. Only 2 heroes go down, the Leshrac and the Batrider. So
Batrider tried to take Sven out of play because the lasso still hits even though he's magic immune.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the lasso broke and Sven was still just about in BKB, so the best that Batrider could do was try and float off towards the top of the cliff and come back down round the side. Unfortunately, he got caught out as the rest of his team had already retreated, so he was just easily picked off because he was behind enemy lines at that point.
Certainly was. So, you know, it was only the Leshrac lost. You know, it's hard to say which way that one went, but with all the money gained by MiTH-Trust, I'd say they were pretty happy, or reasonably happy with that fight, only losing the Leshrac there. But just looking at what's going on now, we got the Nature's Prophet just pushing around. He did try and get the bottom lane a little bit further pushed. He's getting very, very close to his, unless he's already got it. No, he's getting very close to his anticipated item. Of course, the Scythe of Vice going to provide him with some disable there. As we can see, the Quap is still sitting here. Also, she's getting quite close to what she's after as well, and things are really starting to turn the way of MiTH-Trust right about now, just given their net worth. As you can see on the net worth details here, Nature's Prophet sitting right at the top at around about 11,000 gold worth, so he's sitting quite pretty up there. And we're still just sort of farming a bit. It looks like some of the players just getting ready to sort of look at their buyback status and just sort of say, all right, am I going to use some of this money, or am I going to sit back and just in case I might want to buy back? But of course, for MiTH-Trust, they've got a lot more map control than RJ at the moment, with their tier 1 towers all still up and running, going to provide them with just so much map presence, because they'll be able to bump around between the tier 1 towers and get around as they please. Of course, it provides them with that extra little bit of detection against the Ricky if he's pushing around. But you know, just the fact that they've got that means so much right now, and it looks as if we will have another smoke gank going on for RJ.
This'll stop being effective as the game goes on, because Magnus does have a Gem of True Sight, mostly to counter Ricky's invisibility, but the smoke, you still get detected, so the smoke gank potential will go down further and further in the game, unless they kill off Magnus and take the gem for themselves.
Yeah, it looks like they're setting up for their only little attack here. The rest of the team is smoked up just behind the Queen of Pain, and I think RJ will know that this is a bit of a trap. They have, for the most part, smoked up themselves. Quap has now finished off her Scythe of Vice, but off goes the Rocket Flare there, trying to get a little bit of vision on where that Quap is, but here she is. She's just trying to lure them in, but RJ is not falling for it. They're sitting back here. As we can see with the vision, they have now been able to see exactly what's going on, and they will be able to just sit back for the moment and just make sure they are safe and sound behind that tower for the time being. But Quap has decided to go in, throws out the Scream and the dagger as well. There's the hook shot. Sven is picked up by the Batrider. Blade Mail being turned on by the Clockwork. He's caught out by everyone, and Magnus, despite the Blade Mail, says, hello, look at my big spear that I've got, and absolutely annihilates that Clockwork, and that tower is down in less than 60 seconds. I'll tell you what, it's better than that movie. And it looks like a team wipe for the cost of a Leshrac. So MiTH-Trust sitting in a very, very strong position right here.
Yeah, the RJ just waiting to delay that as long as they possibly could, because they knew Magnus was there somewhere, but they just couldn't see him. And then suddenly, too late, the fight was upon them. The creeps were already pushing onto the tower, and then the Queen of Pain blinks in behind the Invoker, hexes him. What do we do now? We have to fight. And so suddenly everything goes off. Macropyre, Batrider trying to pull people in. Clockwork was able to get the kill onto the Shrek, but 5 for 1 is not a good trade, and they lost the tower, 2 towers and 2 barracks in that exchange now. So
yeah, exactly.
What do you do in this situation? You could have used the glyph and tried to delay the fight, or they didn't really get a choice in the matter. It was Queen of Pain blinking in behind the tower, behind the Invoker, and saying, no, I want to fight now, and you have to fight us now, otherwise you just lost a hero for nothing.
Yeah.
So they made the best that they could out of that situation, but it cost them all their lives.
And Sven is now starting to dive. He's just so powerful right now. Of course, he's got his own Mask of Madness. He is starting to lose all the very high level charges on that BKB, but it doesn't really mean too much at the moment. But Ricky is going to catch up with him. It is going to be the end of Sven for the time being, caught out by the Ricky. Let's just have a look at what items Ricky has. He's currently sitting on the Ring of Aquila still, and is trying to get up a, what I would say is probably going to be a BKB, but he's going to have no luck getting that up. But he will be able to perhaps get this kill. Yes, he will. Nope, Invoker takes the kill on the Prophet there. It looks like he's got his drums and his phase boots, and he may be going for the Force Staff there. Perhaps another kill on this Queen of Pain.
Oh.
Beautifully done.
Way out of position. Didn't think Ricky was there, and then Ricky just jumps in with the silence, and Invoker able to get the kill again because of his giant right-click advantage. The speed of it with his Wex build is phenomenal. Ricky again getting denied that kill which he really wants. See what the courier has for him. Yep, that is a full BKB on the Ricky now. The sadistic side of me says that he would have wanted to go for the Sanj so he could get a Sanj and Yasha, because that's a really great item, but no, the Ricky really needs to live through these fights, and a lot of it is caused by magic immunity, so he just gets himself immune and right click everywhere.
As we say that, it looks as if Magnus has decided to change the fights a little bit in his own way. He's now picked up a Battle Fury, so that's going to add to his cleave and to his damage, of course, meaning that Ricky is going to have to be very careful if he gets targeted down by that Magnus. He's going to go down in a few swipes, and I don't think he's going to be too happy about seeing that Battle Fury being finished up.
Sven has his built-in cleave, but to see a Magnus with a cleave, it's a scary sight. And then you get skewered and taken into their middle of their team, and it's suddenly it becomes a brown alert, as they say in Red Wolf.
And I'm not sure what the plan was here from Magnus, but
they tried to blink up to have vision, and then the Queen of Pain was saying, well, "Why? I have a ward right here."
Yeah.
And so they put illusions up on the. I don't know. It just seems very silly to me.
Doesn't matter, because effectively, once this next push comes in, you would expect that RG is going to be in a bit of trouble. But with the Ricky with the BKB, might be able to survive a little bit longer and be able to put the backstab damage down. Of course, the smoke screen helps him out as well. But MiTH-Trust is preparing for that next Roshan, which will be along in around about 1 minute. Nope, 30 seconds, I should say. I'm not looking at my clock correctly. But they're going to do all of that while the creeps are now pushing into the top lane. Invoker doing his best, getting hunted down by Wrath of Nature from the Nature's Prophet, putting him down to around about just under half health, and that is not good for him at all. But here comes that magical clock about to drop down, and
tick-tock.
Tick-tock, where is Big Ben right about now? Bam, there it goes, and an immediate stun out of R5, going to finish off this Roshan in around about 10 seconds, I would say. TNK's got his Mask of Madness activated. Of course, he's got the treads as well. He's putting out quite a lot of damage there. 127 plus 100 without his ultimate even activated. Not to mention he's going to have the bonus of the Empower from Sven with the bonus damage 50%, cleave damage 50% as well, added on to Sven's innate cleaving as well. So this is a bit of a cleave game. You need someone. Who else is going to grab a Battle Fury? You need an anti-mage to throw onto this. Then you could just have the cleave squad. That'd be crazy from MiTH-Trust.
The only other person who could possibly get a Battle Fury for their team is Nature's Prophet, because he's the only one who really right clicks like that.
That's true. That's true.
Even so, that's still a bit silly because he is ranged. Maybe he gives Battle Fury to his treants instead. They can have the cleave.
But here we go, the fight is on. Quap blinking in, throwing out the Scream and also her Hex. It looks like Sven is absolutely annihilating everybody in there. Clockwork getting picked up despite his Blade Mail. Jakiro trying to look for the kill on that Sven and does actually pick him up. He will need to buy back. We got a couple of buybacks from the Radiant team there. Of course, there was one from Clockwork getting himself straight back into the fight. And now, as we can see, triple kill. Magnus, I should say, has picked up all of those heroes there. He grabbed them all and started cleaving till the cows came home. And he was finished off by the Clockwork, but Quap was able to finish that off. And the remainder of that fight is a Ricky Maru and an Invoker against a very highly talented Queen of Pain and, of course, the Nature's Prophet. So they're going to head back, not content to finish off that Rax just at the moment. Of course, you may not want to take that risk and make it a 5-hero loss, but effectively MiTH-Trust are just stamping down their authority on this game now. Sven and Magnus, with all that cleave, all that damage, are just slicing through their opponents with every single swipe.
Despite that being a very heavy team fight and it going the way of MiTH-Trust, that fight was actually even. 5 heroes fell for RJ and 4 fell for MiTH-Trust. Both teams had 2 buybacks. So that is a very interesting fight, because even though they had all this bonus cleave damage and double damage rune and things like that, they actually did relatively the same amount of damage to each other. MiTH overall getting 1 net kill.
I think
buybacks coming back from the Nature's Prophet and Magnus, and the buybacks coming back from Clockwork and Ricky.
Invoker as well.
Invoker back as well.
Yeah,
oh,
so
then
it was 3.
Much more in MiTH's favour. At the start of that fight, Nature's Prophet was thinking, yeah, I've got a hand of Midas, so I've got decent gold. And he right-clicks down the Clockwork, despite him putting up his chainmail, his blade mail, and he said, "I've got the gold. Have you got enough gold to buy back?" And he's basically saying, "I don't care how much damage you do to me, Clockwork. I'm challenging you. Buy back now, or lose your racks." So, pretty ballsy play coming out from MiTH.
Certainly.
They're trying to call RJ out and say, "Are you man enough? Buy back if you think you can take us."
Certainly right, and as we saw, I think the fact that Magnus was not able to sort of catch out the multi-hero cleave until much later in the fight is why part of that went the way of RJ. But yeah, as we sort of mentioned at the end there, given the buybacks and the amount of heroes that went down, it looks like MiTH-Trust is about to come in and try and finish the job on that bottom tower, and then who knows, perhaps the racks as well. No real buybacks available for any of these players, so it's mostly a time limit for the boys from RJ and MiTH-Trust. Just had a little bit of a gold issue on a couple of their buybacks, but it's not going to matter. Sven's got his Mask of Madness, of course. He's going to be able to throw that up. It looks like the cycling goes out and catches out a couple of the heroes, but MiTH-Trust just going to be content to bide their time and take out a random ward that was off to the side here. And here we are.
It's all about time, because the mid lane is already pushed out as far as where the tier 2 tower used to be. Tier 1, top lane will always push in because there isn't any towers left. The tier 1 hasn't even fallen for the dire side yet. They're about to lose the tier 4 tower there. So all they need to do is push this out as long as possible. Here we go.
They're just going to go straight in for it. There is the Sven running in with his Mask of Madness. BKB active, of course, his ulti as well. Ow. Sonic Wave goes out. Jakira goes down to a Wrath of Nature. Sven lays waste to that Clockwork. Queen of Pain going to be able to finish off the last hero there. And that was it was Nature's Prophet with the triple kill. And he has taken down every single person pretty much there. With the triple coming out, the Sven doing a great job as well. Quap getting in there with her ulti and the Hex as well, providing a bit of disable. And things are about to finish up in this game between MiTH-Trust and Rajawali. After some really brilliant plays from both teams. I mean, it wasn't as if it was completely one-sided this whole game. We had the starting phase. Queen of Pain had a little bit of trouble right at the start, of course, having to face off against that Ricky maxing out Blink as fast as possible. But the top lane got dominated by the Sven and the Leshrac, so MiTH-Trust having a good time with that. There is another tower for Sven. 2 towers, in fact. He's going to finish off. Oh, he's got a Battle Fury. So
killed the second tower with his cleave.
There you go. There you go.
You can kill towers with cleave. This is not possible.
I don't know if that was the cleave. I think he turned around to hit it.
I think that was his cleave. He was standing right next to both of them.
Either way, there you go. Sven going to run in, probably going to get the kill on this Batrider as well. Runs into the fountain, dies down, buys back immediately, and so does the Batrider. But it doesn't matter. This is all over Red Rover, and MiTH-Trust are going to take this game against RJ with very sort of decent efficiency once you get to that late game stage. Despite the Ricky with getting all of his items up and running, but well, part of his items up and running. But there you go. A win going the way of MiTH-Trust here in this game at the GosuCup Asia #2. Thank you all for joining us. It's been quite a lot of fun and really interesting to see a Magnus come out from MiTH-Trust. As we said right at the start, you don't see him too often, but he has started to gain a little bit of traction. Of course, as 12th Doc mentioned, a skewer going the way of your side of the river is always a good thing. And of course his ultimate provides a lot of disable as well, pulling everyone in with reverse polarity, and then you can smash them around with that cleave, and that's what we saw right at the end from those two teams. So what did you think? You want to pick the two, like the best player from each team, or sort of like the most efficient player from each team?
Yeah, big props to the person playing Invoker. It's not easy to play a solo lane against Magnus and to do pretty well. He did well in his lane, better than either Ricky did at the start or Clockwork did at the start, so he played really well in my mind. From its side, I'm having a think. Sven killing early game is nice. The Shrek. I'm probably going to say Magnus. He just played well the entire game. Some great skewers, even though he missed a couple. Still had some decent ganks, and then the end of the game, his cleave with his Battle Fury just through the roof. Did so much damage in that second to last fight.
Yep. Okay, well, of course, if you're watching the stream, thank you for tuning in. We are going to perhaps find another game. I'm not exactly sure where we're at the moment with the bracket. I'll just double check, because I think we're getting close to the end of day one.
We should be round 3 or round 4 by now. I think round 5 starts tomorrow.